and like I hear this noise, and mate, I know my animals, and like I heard this noise, and it was like like that, like nice 5K run up a mountain, 5K back. That should have never been that sketchy, but it just goes to show like you just like coming from the UK, just take those things for granted.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Bootleg Culture. We're going to be talking about van life today, and we've got someone very exciting with us today. So he's a special guest. He's been on an extraordinary adventure, both on the road and in the digital world. He's a traveler, a gamer. He's one of us.
One of us.
He's been documenting his adventures as he roams Europe in a converted camper van. His captivating stories, stunning visuals, and unique perspective on life has captured the hearts of people worldwide. Amassing over 150,000 followers across his social channels, the man whose journey is an anthem to the dreamer in all of us, Willem explores. Willem, it's a pleasure to have you on. It's a pleasure to have you on Bootleg Culture.
Wait, what an intro that is! I feel like I just need to like end my whole like social media career right there. Like, it's downhill from here, boys.
No, it's amazing to have you on with us. Obviously to share your insights. How are you feeling today, man? How you doing?
All good. Yeah, it's appreciate it, by the way. It's always a pleasure to support the boys back home. Anyone showing love, massively appreciate it. But yeah, I'm all good. Right now, you might not tell, but normally I'm in some beautiful location, but I'm just literally parked outside some like back alley in the middle of Austria. I actually just had my first hot shower in 2 months, so that's why I was a bit late getting here. My boys are staying in Austria, so I linked up with them, used their shower, had like shower shave. That's like the first hot shower I've had in 2 months, so I was like taking my sweet ass time on that.
So we got the fresh Willem today. Then we got the fresh out the shower.
I'm all fucking bummy and that, but I'm pretty fresh today, so I had to, make a little effort.
We appreciate that. We appreciate that.
So yeah, I don't know if you guys have obviously met Tyrell and Willem.
No, we haven't met.
No, I haven't
met. So I've heard a lot about you, seen your content, man. Love the stuff. So yeah, I'm looking to get into it with you.
So
hey yo,
obviously not like that, innit? Like
you got a double bed?
Tyler. That's you, innit? That's you, Tyler.
I was trying to shack up.
Yo, man.
I'll tell you what I tell the girls in the DMs. Come find me.
What 3 words? Drop the location.
So, where have you been traveling recently with them?
You know what? I've been on the move quite a lot, really. Like a lot of people do van life, do like quite a slow pace, but because I'm trying to like make this a like full-time career, I've had a few opportunities been coming up. So I was actually just driving south, minding my own business, dipped down through like Italy, Slovenia, Croatia, and I actually got a really like sick opportunity. So I've come back to Austria to help promote a like local areas tourism board. So I'm actually tomorrow all weekend I'm going to be in this area in Austria, like filming content with the Austrian tourism board, and like doing hikes and doing stuff like that. So that's a paid gig. So I've had to come all the way back up to do that, but they made it worth my while. So I'm back here now. But overall, I've been on a bit of a journey. So for people who don't know, last year I basically did just over 5.5 months in my van, and it was like a kind of a test the water sort of trip. I'll do the trip as long as I can until I run out of money. Basically, like even 2 months into the trip, I was like, yeah, this is it. This is like what I want to do in life. So I just enjoyed that trip. The money ran out, came back to England, depressed, cold weather, middle of December, no
all right,
job,
we're still stuck here, all right?
And this year I've been on the road since July, so just over 3 months. I actually started off in Romania because I had a like a documentary to film unofficially for like a Red Bull event. So I did that, and then I've just been traveling since. I've been pretty much mostly in the European Alps, like doing like my main passions like climbing mountains, hiking, camping, stuff like that. And then after this weekend, I'm actually going to head down to the Balkans for winter, so that's going to be interesting. So hit up Montenegro, Albania, Bulgaria, and lay low for winter basically because of the rules. So
You got a lot going on.
man, I'm a busy man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a
You are.
busy
I mean,
man.
that Red Bull event. I think I saw that you did some bits of it on YouTube already. But is it the Romaniacs? Was it?
Yeah, that's it. So I'm actually editing the full video at the minute. That'll be going live hopefully tomorrow.
Nice.
But that was more for like a friends and family thing, like unofficially through Red Bull. But it was pretty sick to actually go and film a Red Bull event and actually like start chatting to a few Red Bull guys because like a Red Bull job would be like a dream job for me, like working in the van and doing jobs for Red Bull, like that'd be
100%.
like a proper
Did you get
dream
the drone and
job.
all that involved then? Were you doing all drone shots or?
Yeah, I was doing drone shots. We're like putting GoPros on the riders. We were filming like behind the scenes. Yeah, it's pretty sick. Like, so we captured like the whole event, like captured like my friends and family, like the travels down there. So it's pretty jokes to do, but also for me just to like test my filmmaking skills because I want to do some like more like videography style stuff in the future.
Yeah.
Like do some like short film, short documentary style, like 20, 30 minute like videos like that. Because at the minute all my content is revolving around like mostly like iPhone clips and like vlogs like that. But I would like to get into like more like cinematic style stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, I
man.
mean,
I'm totally
Rouse
into that
does
sort
a
of
lot of
stuff
that
as
stuff
well.
as
Yeah,
well, right? Yeah.
yeah. Love videography, love cinematography. So yeah, I'd
Mate,
be
it's
excited to
sick.
see some of the stuff that you can create, man. Already your content's decent on an iPhone, so
Decent is his drone shots leave me like this, mate. I'm like watching a
Yeah,
video in bed. I'm like,
I can't believe you don't use any additional camera, Willem. Like you don't use any, like you just use just iPhone, like for most of your like content stuff.
The minute I'd say like 90% of my content's iPhone. I was doing a few drone clips. Rest in peace, the drone. It got crashed into a mountain a few weeks ago, so that's now
No.
that's now somewhere something else, mate. I crashed it into, mate. I was getting probably one of the like top 3 clips I've ever got.
don't think about it,
I
man.
was that like I was literally that engrossed in the clip, like looking at the screen. I completely forgot there was a mountain behind me. Flew it into the mountain. Drone fell off the mountain, and then it's like when I say in the mountain, it's like in the middle of absolute nowhere. Like to actually get the drone back would be like a full like roped up team mission just to get it back. So I'm
4-month
hoping
excursion.
one day that it will come back to me because I've got like loads of these little stickers, like my little logo. I made 50 of them and I put one of them on my drone. So I'm hoping one day, maybe a year or two, if I can get like even just the SD card back, that's all I'm bothered about really. Because really annoyingly, the SD card had 6 minutes left out of 2 hours worth of film. So I had a full like 5 months worth of video clips on that one SD card, and I was kicking myself, man.
that's
Kicking myself. Like,
heartbreaking, man.
Yeah,
But I mean, none of that clips, none of the footage. It's just you can just see it on your phone then, or like on what is it? Is it on the drone? Like, so how's that work? Is it on a handheld or?
so like they do it differently nowadays. They actually do drones with like screens on, but the drone that I had like a device you attach your phone to, then your phone operates as the screen. But to see the clips, you have to plug the controller into the phone and then it reads them off the SD card. So the photos automatically go onto the phone. So luckily I have got some photos, but because the clips are so large in file size, you have to manually back them up, which I didn't do at all. So I was pure good about that, but it is what it is. Plenty more adventures to come.
100%.
I'm sure, and I'm sure you'll be backing those clips up every time you take them from now on.
I'm gonna be so OCD about getting SD cards, backing them up, mate. It's gonna be a problem.
It's just gonna have a wallet full of SD cards from this day.
Joking, man. You think I'm joking?
Nah, 100%. That's what you need, though.
Yeah. Well, Ral, you'll know, like obviously doing the videography stuff and that, especially with the videos, you can burn through SD cards so
Yeah,
fast.
so quickly.
Like, so fast. But the problem with me is I had like tons of like from each adventure, I might have like 5 minutes of clips. So I worked it out. There's probably like in my head, I worked out there's probably give or take 200 clips on that SD card from probably like over 10 different countries.
That is so.
Well, you better get
Very
some
easy.
ropes and
Yeah,
start
yes.
getting ready to go on that adventure.
Good.
Honestly,
Willem
I might
explores finding the drone, episode 1. You know.
Yeah.
mate, it could be a whole adventure in itself.
Jeez.
Serious. But I tried to leverage it with like the drone company to give me a new drone because what I did that little video like, I crashed my drone. Here's the best clips that I had over the 2 years, and mate, that popped off a little bit. That got like 250k views, that video.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So I was like trying to use that as leverage. So I'm waiting for them to hear back because everyone was in the comments like, "Get Willem a new drone,
Yeah.
sponsor me a new drone." Da, 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 da.
Yeah. On this episode too, tag them, do whatever, get them,
Yeah,
get them
Get
going.
Willem a new
We need
drone.
this drone. Yeah, we need him to get a new
Yeah.
drone.
That's the name of the episode. Get Willem a drone.
Get Willem a drone.
So, I mean, you kind of already answered one of the questions I had about how you make money while you're traveling. Because I know in your YouTube video that you uploaded recently, you mentioned how you needed to figure out a way that you could generate some income. So is that mainly just through working with tourism boards and helping to promote areas?
You know what? This is the first time this has happened. Like, I hit the road in July. I didn't really do anything until end of August with brands. I started to like pick up traction on my socials, and naturally that picked up attraction from like brands. But like I was very like lucky to have met like some like influencers who are doing this sort of full time, and they gave me some pretty sound advice, which is that like don't don't jump too early. Like don't just take the brand deals that come at the beginning. Like be selective about what you have. So I was getting offered like little bits and bobs here and there that maybe I might have taken on another day, but I turned them down. Like really, I just want to be like working with a handful of brands that I'll use and then promote them and get paid. Like free equipment is good, but I don't want to be like showing free equipment every week and then like you soon lose your credibility as like a influencer if you start doing that, and it's very obvious to start doing that. So I had to say a few hard no's to a few companies, but when that video, I'm actually terrible at YouTube. That video is actually a couple months old, but it only went up last week. But I have had a few jobs since. I had a job with a clothing company that sell their clothes in JD. So I did a hike recently and I was wearing their like clothes and I got paid to promote their clothes and then also took some like nice pictures for them. I have like a cheap DSLR, but it can still take good photos, like enough for like a brand to be happy with, because most brands nowadays will actually rather you post on your platform and tag them than them have the video and put it on their platform.
Yeah.
Because it's like if I post it on my platform with my audience that I have grown like naturally that like me, they don't really care what this brand is until I tell them what the brand is or show them the brand. Like if a brand had me as a person and then posted a video of me, they'd be like, "Oh, who's this guy? What's he doing?" They might get a bit of interest from it, but brands often nowadays are more interested in something called UGC, which is user generated content.
Yeah.
They're like more interested in like people. I don't like calling myself.
It's like making it more organic, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, adverts can be quite a turn off to some people, I think, and the idea is to make it feel as natural and organic
And
as
also,
possible.
like you were saying, obviously, if you're just getting products every week, there's no way you can possibly test and use all of them. So you're basically just.
I mean, your
promoting
boys
stuff
your boys probably saw it. Like it was like I chat about stuff like this quite a lot actually. So I've always got like a ton of like opinions about it. But you might have seen it like I don't know, like 6 months ago. There were when everyone was like hitting ice baths. There was like these Lumi ice baths or like ice baths that people were getting, and like everyone was like posting videos in them, and everyone was posting the same videos. And on their Facebook, they were just like promoting it with like girls in bikinis with like fat asses and tattoos, and it was just like there's no credibility to that like product. You're just attracting like a very niche section of like middle-aged men to get it, whereas like if you get like a person like me or someone to like do a more like soft approach to like marketing, it has much better like feedback.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like you want to have a use case for it, really, because by putting them girls in that ice, sure, you're going to get views on the video, but you're not necessarily going to get purchases. Whereas if you have somebody who's like in the sports industry and like promotes it as recovery, or like for you, like after a hike, like this is how I like to, relax.
I'll give you another example. There's a brand you might have heard of called Revolution Race.
Not one
They
I've heard of.
do like if you quickly bring it up on IG, you'll see like quickly search Revolution Race on IG. They've got quite a big following. But like they approached me recently, and I'm kind of like outing them here in public. But they approached me recently and was like, "Oh, we want to give you these clothes. We'll send you them for free. We'll pay you to do the video." But I was just like I'll be straight up with you. I don't really want to wear your clothes. Like as much as I appreciate like the offer, because it all stemmed from like I seen a video like of theirs like a few months before where they had like Paddy McGuinness like kitted out in like their hiking equipment, and he was like, "Yo, these shoes are bad, boy. This t-shirt's wicked for the outside." And I was like, "Mate, Paddy McGuinness should not be advertising mountaineering and hiking equipment." And it just made me think like that's not the sort of company I really want to be getting on board with.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
Yeah,
had to
yeah.
like decline that offer because the thing is that everyone's trying to. I get it. Like everyone's
Yeah.
trying to follow like the Gymshark like formula to success, which was give your stuff to like hundreds of influencers,
Yeah.
pay them no money, but give them like hundreds of pounds of clothes. Suddenly they're all promoting your gear and you're getting mad exposure. Like that
The
is
difference,
a really good formula to success, but it doesn't like work for every brand.
the
They
difference
approach
with
it different
Gymshark
ways.
is they were just giving it to the hot people. They're getting all the
Yeah,
sexy people in their gym wear, so it just got out.
trust me.
Yeah, 100%.
Plus, they were at a point where like there were a lot of micro influencers of like emerging. I feel like, and they made like a really good solid standpoint. Like people wanted to be involved with Gymshark. They'd approach Gymshark to see like, can we be a Gymshark athlete? They made it something different rather than just like an influencer working for Gymshark. If you got on board, you became like a Gymshark athlete. They did a really good job of it. And like,
Yeah.
I've got a cousin who works in marketing over at Gymshark now. The company is
Mm.
just going to incredible places. I think they're going to be going public eventually, and props to them. They've
Yeah,
done it properly.
Yeah, crazy.
they've done it properly, but these other companies are basically trying to piggyback on that formula. And
Yeah, your product's not necessarily meant to go viral. That's the thing. You have to have a product that is A, either aesthetically pleasing, or B, has virality. Like it's something that you can look at and be like, I want one of those, like straight away. It's an impulse buy.
They thought Paddy McGuinness was the ticket.
So, yeah, like Paddy McGuinness doesn't inspire me to buy any clothes. I'm not gonna lie. I'll probably feel like that's obviously
What?
not for me.
What?
Then
Paddy's out on road? Yeah, let me get them. Let me get them.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking,
Mate,
where
I'll
does
pure-
it come in?
I see that.
Where does the crossover come in there? Paddy McGuinness, mountaineering, hiking.
mate, and I think it's like all the clothes were like box fresh. You can tell he's just like literally hiked up in his trackies and changed into it. It's like, mate, like mountaineering stuff is supposed to be like rough and ready. It
Yeah.
ain't gonna be box fresh on the top of a mountain, like you know what I mean? Like,
At least get a Bear
that's
Grylls in it. You know what I mean? Like somebody who
Yeah.
is a proper survivalist out here.
Bear Grylls probably
yeah.
ain't trying to promote that.
No, he ain't got time for all of that, mate. He's on an island somewhere eating crawfish, crayfish. You know what I mean? He's busy.
No, that. What do you mean? That is a really high quality meal for Bear Grylls. He's probably eating like beetles or some
he's eating
weird
some mad
shit.
shit. Yeah, he's skinning a seal alive just as a coach.
He's like, I don't need outdoor wear. I got this seal skin.
He's in a coconut. He's just drinking it. Like it's just raw.
Yeah,
$100%.
he's the guy. What's the craziest thing you've had to do on one of your hikes, Willem? Or like, have you got any crazy survival stories?
Mate, I've had a few dodgy situations, I ain't gonna lie to you, but the thing is with being like solo and being out in the wild, you have to like proper like number one, keep a level head, but you have to be like overly cautious because like if I like trip and snap an ankle as simple as that, or even sprain an ankle and then something goes wrong, it could be like hours if not days because some of the places I go, like for example yesterday I've been up in the mountains, I saw one person in 24 hours, like one person. So it's just like
Oh,
if you go into these places and something goes wrong and you haven't got phone signal, it can go like very wrong. So like I have to kind of usually call it before anything goes really bad. Like the bear one was quite funny actually. That was like quite scary because I never really deeped how scary it was until I started telling people, and they were like, "Yo, you like legit could have like died there or been attacked by a bear." I'll tell you that one like really quickly. Basically, like I was just sat on the beach in Croatia, like chilling. I'm just getting back into my running because I actually snapped my Achilles in February, so I'm just getting back into my running now. And like I seen a mountain in the distance, so I checked it out on Strava, and I was like, "Yeah, it's like a route." I was like, "I'll just go send it." Got there, got my fucking like water, my headphones. I was like, "Yeah, I'll run up for sunset and I'll run back down in the dark. It's fine. Like I have a head torch and that." So I'm like running, I'm like 4K in, and I've only got to run 5K. And at about 4.5K, my headphones die. And it's like, I'm like, jarring, headphones have died. Anyway, like literally, I'm running probably not even for 2 minutes later. And like, I'm on the top of this mountain nearly, and there's this big, big rock, like probably like the size of like the van. And there's like trees all around it, but the rock's like so big, like you can only just see the top of the trees. And like, as I'm running, like there's no wind, there's like no wind at all. And then I just suddenly see these trees start moving along the side of the rock with me. And like, I hear this noise. And mate, I know my animals, and like I heard this noise, and it was like that, and I stopped like dead. Like I was going full sprint, stopped dead. Probably could have bust my Achilles right there and then, stopping dead like that. And like I stop, and I see mate, it's like off a movie like this. I see these trees just like move all the way around the front of the rock.
It's like Predator.
I hear this growl again, and then instantly I was gone. Which, in hindsight, is probably the worst thing you can do with a brown bear, because apparently you're supposed to just stand there, chill. When you run, it like imitates like a hunting situation. So I'm thinking at this point, like I'm 90% sure it's a bear. So I run down, and in my head I'm thinking tons of things, mate. As I'm running down like a fucking, I'm seeing like big ass spiders. I'm hearing all sorts of noises, because at this point it's pitch black, and all I've got is my head torch pointing at my feet, and I've got an hour of this to go. I like pure shit in it. Like I do like my fastest 4K ever. I get down. I'm like, yo, that was mad. I like get signal. I like quickly like go on Google Maps where I was, and I'm in this really tiny national park, like in the middle of nowhere. Like I've ran into this valley, and I Google it, and I Google the national park, and then I Google animals, and the first thing it says is this national park is home to the European brown bear. And I'm like, nah, that was a brown bear. And then underneath, like, it's common to have other animals such as the grey wolf, lynx, venomous snake.
Jesus Christ.
I'm like, yo, I was out there in like shorts and a t-shirt, like I'm at one. Like I could have been like dusted there and then. No more Willem explores.
Jesus Christ. We have to change it to Willem explored.
Yeah, that's it.
Sweet.
Someone take my account over and just make one last post, and like that's it.
It wouldn't even be like, no one would even know. It'd just be like, Willem stopped posting now.
Yeah.
I wonder what he's doing, man.
It's like, yeah, because a lot of these things, like I always do the things, and then I like post the stories either later that day or the next day, because I always like airplane mode my phone on purpose, so I can like enjoy my time, and also like save my phone battery. So like no one would have known where I was. Like people would have just ghosted. But
yeah, you gotta make sure you're checking in with somebody whenever you go into these remote places. I think just drop in a message, even if it's just like a Discord with your friends in or something, where you just say, "I'm here tonight," or "I'm going running on this mountain." You know what I mean? Like,
it's supposed to be still like little 5K run up a mountain, 5K back. That should have never been that sketchy. But it just goes to show, like, you just like coming from the UK, just take those things for granted. Like you wouldn't have thought like Croatia, brown bears, like on like less than like half an hour from civilization. You wouldn't have just even thought that. But like,
and wolves.
Yeah.
And lynx.
And venomous.
All of them things there.
Another one which is pretty sketchy. Probably like, I actually got asked on my IG the other day, like, what was your like 3 sketchiest situations, and that was before the bear thing. And the other one that I said was, I was out in Greece a couple of years back, but this was when I was just like solo traveling, like for like weeks at a time rather than in the van. And I remember I was going to climb this mountain, and I like, but again, 4 hours, like, right, let me rewind a sec. It was in like winter. In Greece, believe it or not, they've got some really, really big mountains, like twice as big as the highest point in the UK. So like some big, big mountains. And I remember I was at the petrol station. This guy like seen me. He's like, "Oh, where are you going?" I was like, "Oh, I'm going to Mount Olympus." And he was like, "You go there, you die, my friend." Like pure, like said it like that, like some proper like evil villain side character.
Like he's been planning it, like he's following you up there and gonna kill you himself.
Yeah, this sounds like the start of like a film plot. Like it's mad. Like you got to like a little gas station. You're gonna die. Like.
So man goes hiking on the mountain, and it was supposed to
you
be
went
like...
anyway. You went anyway. You know, this guy told you you're gonna die.
Yeah, bro. I'll see you in a few days. I'll come chat you in a bit, show you some photos and that. So I'm going up this mountain. I'm about 5 hours in. I've got about 2 hours to go, and I basically trip on this like tree branch and like spray my ankle, like right in the thick of it. And I'm like, it's getting dark now. I don't have enough time to get back off the mountain. So I basically find this like abandoned refugee. So it's like completely abandoned. It's all locked up. There's like a room downstairs, which luckily was unlocked. And I had like my sleeping bag just in case, like emergency bag. I'm like, I'm just gonna have to sleep here for the night. Like, but like a full-on like storm was coming. Like a big
You're
storm was
braver than
coming.
me.
Mate, so this is like this story in itself is mad. So like I'm in this room, like I'll have to find some like videos and send you them after so you can overlay them. This
Yeah.
room is like a pitch black like cement room, and there's about 4 or 5 bed frames in the room with like chewed up mattresses like from like rats and shit. And as I go into the room, I open the door handle, I go in, I look around, I go to shut the door, and I realize there isn't a door handle on the inside of the door. And I like literally go to slam it and stop my hand, and I realize I have to take the door handle off the other side and put it on the inside. Mate, if I'd have shut that door, I would have been locked in because the whole thing is caged with like metal bars, so you can't get in or you can't get out. The metal bars thing is another story for like later on, but I'll tell you about that in a minute. So I survived the night. On the web, I survived the night. It was the worst night of my life. Honestly, thought I was
You
gonna die.
sleep?
Pure, mate. It took me 2 hours to stop shaking when I got my sleeping bag. Mate, I was that cold because I looked on the weather app when I got down the next day. It was -15.
Bombaclat.
And I was in my sleeping bag, in my own, in this room. I could see my breath just leaving my mouth every time. Basically, mate, I read a whole ass book front to back. I had a book with me. I'd read the whole ass book front to back because I was like so para. Eventually, I got like about an hour of sleep, and then I woke up the next day, and then just got off the mountain nice and steady. But then it goes down to like the local like shop. There's like only one like hiking shop in like the whole town because it's such a small town. I meet this woman. She's like super cool. She's like, oh, it's like she thinks I'm absolutely crazy for spending the night on the mountain. I said like, it wasn't on purpose. Next question she says to me, did you see the wolves? What wolves? No one told me there was no wolves. She's like, yeah, this time of year, December time, no one's on the mountain, so all the wolves come out and they're walking around the mountains normally.
That's what that guy was trying to tell you.
And I was like, oh yeah, sound. That's probably what the metal bars were in that on this building.
Yo.
Another one where Willem explores gets by the skin of his teeth.
That's freaking wild, yo. You could have been wolf dinner.
Mate, never mind that. I could have froze to death, mate. That's the coldest I've ever been in my life.
Just preserve yourself for when the wolves
The thing
do
is,
find you.
what was the purpose of that room if there was no door handle on the inside? Like, it sounds like that was somewhere they were keeping kidnapped prisoners. Like, I don't know.
That was that guy you met at the gas
itself.
station, bro. He was just
He's like,
that was his crib.
that's his
Honestly,
house.
I thought I was gonna enter into like some fucking Greek Saw movie or something. Like, wake up with a vice on my head.
So, Willem, you here to play a game?
The key is behind your left eye. You've explored Europe. Now it's time to explore your skull. The key is behind your left eye.
That gets me, man. I hate that shit, man.
Oh man, no, you
But,
got
like,
some crazy stories.
You know what the mad thing is? I have this chat with a lot of people. Like, I absolutely hate horror movies. Yeah, I hate them. But like, I'll like happily like today, even for example, I'll just walk through a forest in the dark on my ones, like no problem, just with a flashlight. Like that to me is no bother. But I watch a horror movie because I know something's gonna jump at me. But in real life, I'm a bit more chill because I know like whatever it is, I can deal with it. And in them horror movies, I just hate it. But then people's like worst nightmare would be doing what I'm doing, is like walking in the dark through a forest where you don't know where you're going.
Yeah, 100%.
So
With bears.
I think it's probably a slim chance though, most of the time, that you're going to get attacked by an animal, right? It's just the fear that something's going to actually attack you.
Yeah, it's a slim chance we're going to be attacked, but Willem's out there a lot more than we are.
He really in the wilderness. He really out there in the wilderness.
I'm chancing it. Law of averages, I'm chancing
Yeah,
it.
that's what I'm
pure
saying.
chancing it.
Don't worry, it resets every year. So every year your percentages go back down to 0. It's fine.
Mate, but yeah, I'm always just But the thing is with me, yeah, because I'm like out there on my own and I'm always like putting myself out there. I've got like a fresh story nearly like every other day I could just tell you about. I could be here for like hours just chatting like absolute waffle about random stuff that I've been doing and random little side quests that I've been doing. But I guess that's why these socials are doing quite well because I'm just posting them all on there. People are like loving it. So
They are
People
loving it.
want to live that life, and it's. I think it's one of those things like everybody wants to go traveling, and you're doing the way that everybody wants to travel, like actually
mm,
travel. Most people will go traveling and they've got like saved money and they have to just like go home as soon as the money runs out. Whereas you're kind of trying to make a life of it and make a living
mm,
out of it as well, which is that's the real dream, right? That's freedom. Like you're living off the grid. Um,
mm.
you're generating income whilst you're living your dream. I mean, who wouldn't want to be doing that? I mean, I wouldn't be doing the mountain stuff. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'd just be doing the beaches that you do. But I mean, how did you
Really,
get into how did you get into it all? How did you get into van life? And I guess actually, first of all, just
yeah.
in case by this point anybody doesn't know, what would you say van life is really all about, and how did you get into it?
Yeah, I guess people actually don't really know that probably from this chat, but I actually live in a van. So here's my van. I live in this van. I built it and now I live in it. And then my hobbies are like climbing mountains, hiking, exploring stuff. But van life can be something different for everyone. I'm in a few like van life groups on like Facebook and stuff because it's they're actually really handy because you can post like random questions and stuff. But there'll be like the weekend explorers, as they're well known, which have like a van, sometimes like a cheap van with like nothing in it, or sometimes a top of the range van, and they'll be like just working a 9 to 5, going away on the weekend. That's van life. Van life to some people will mean like living in a van, but like living in the UK and like using like gyms and stuff like that to shower and stuff. Whereas like van life, my van life is like a full-time van life, traveling on the road pretty much every day. I wake up at a new spot. Pretty much every night I wake up at a new spot. Some people use campsites. I'd probably say probably like 70% of people, 75% of people would use campsites. I've been doing van life now between my two vans. I worked it out yesterday, roughly 260 days now I've lived in a van, and I haven't stayed at a campsite once that whole time. So I haven't paid to park anywhere, haven't paid to sleep anywhere. And like that to me is like the true van life. Like people will say different things, but that to me is like I want to buy the van so I can go to these mad places. Like I
Yeah.
get like people who want to like have like the luxuries away from home. Like 100% I get that. Like that's my first hot shower in 2 months. Like to some people they'll be like, "Nah, sack that." Like, but to me, like I was happy to sacrifice those creature comforts to live this like life that I want to live.
Yeah, and obviously, I'd assume you are, but are you happy? Are you?
Buzzing, I'm pure buzzing, mate. If you don't like, not many people know a
What
lot
did you
about
do
me.
before this? What did you do before?
Yeah, so before this, I actually um like I worked at Volkswagen for it totaled up to 9 years in the end. So basically went to school, got a couple GCSEs, uh, turned a bit of a page on my A levels, kind of bunked them, like got one A level, went to college, got kicked out of college, and then basically just worked ever since college. But I've always had that lust to travel, but I've always made that excuse. Like I've always had like a job promotion or a new girlfriend or my sister had like a kid or got my family nearby or just loads of reasons that are valid reasons, but are reasons that I use to convince myself I should stay in the UK and I shouldn't do this sort of thing.
Yeah,
And then basically like a congregation of like a load of events like ending of a relationship, like COVID and the job getting shit and like my mental health getting bad and then my mental health getting better, I was like, right, it's like a now or never thing. Like I'm not getting younger. I'm like the best I've been. Like I'm just gonna pull the trigger and like go for it. And like I haven't looked back since basically.
because you did the full van like conversion yourself, right?
Mm. And that's what kind of really blew up my socials because I did my old little green van, which was like a little Lego van. It really had not much in it at all. It had like a USB charger and a fridge. That's all it had.
Willem Explores
And
V1.
yeah, the version one, like the test run, Like I still look back to that van and think I don't know how I lived in that van for like 5.5 months through 18 countries. I couldn't stand up in it. I couldn't lie down in it. You couldn't even sit up in it. There wasn't anywhere to sit. But somehow I managed to survive like in that van. But yeah, the new van is what kind of really blew the socials up because I realized that actually people want to see this stuff. So I just started pretty much naturally documenting my whole life, whether I was like going on a hike, going like climbing, like going to see friends, building a van. So like filmed the whole thing, videoed the whole thing, made 28 episodes of like Instagram reels or TikTok videos, whatever. And then that like really boosted my socials. And then by doing it all myself, like I saved tons of money, but also I built it exactly how I wanted to build it. So
Yeah.
luckily for me, people always say like, how did you know what you wanted? Da, da, da. Like for me, I was really lucky because I'd traveled in a van and I'd seen hundreds of vans. I basically took like a little thing from all these vans that I've seen over the year. And then as soon as I started building it, I knew what I wanted to do. So I built the whole thing in 77 days. And then the day it was built, I left the country. Simple as that. Like just left the country that day. So
Nice.
Yeah, that's sick. That's sick. It's super inspiring, man. I mean, it just
is.
goes to show, like, if you really have a goal in mind that you want to achieve, and don't let anything kind of stop you, just make sure that you do what's right for you, right? And I think that you definitely have made the right decision for
suppose
yourself.
That's what got you through those first 5 months in the Lego van, because you wanted it so bad. You wanted to do it. So
yeah, yeah.
it was nothing to you.
Mate, I was saying to someone just yesterday actually, just talking about the van life and that. And in the old van, in the little green van, I had like every extreme. Like the hottest it got inside the van, we're talking, because I have a little thermometer. It's over there in this van. The hottest it got was 42 degrees, and that was in Annecy in July when we were having the heat wave in France, and it was that hot. Like the carpet was melting down from the ceiling. It was that hot. And the coldest it got inside the van was -12 one night in Romania in the beginning of December.
Yeah, but you've
So like
done that.
that was like a 50-degree swing like inside the van alone.
That sounds like the
And I
start
like
of a movie. It's -12 one night in the middle of Romania in the winter.
mate, it might be like one of those videos like you might be thinking how I got here.
Hi,
Well,
I'm
let me
Willem,
tell you.
and you're probably
Just a
thinking
little
how I
green
got
one
into
might
this.
be it. Yeah, that's it. In this situation, he knew
He
he
fucked
fucked up.
Is it quite easy for you to turn the camera and just give us a little view of the
Yeah,
van
easy.
now?
Yeah, I'll turn it round and
So,
I'll keep
so,
it on
so
that.
I mean, what are like your favorite features that you've got in the van right now? And you
Yeah,
know,
your
Wow.
must-haves.
So we've got a double bed at the end, and that's comfy as anything. It's a custom-made mattress, because it's not a full length, but it's a full double width. So that's exactly 5'10" and a half, and I'm 5'10", so I can fit perfectly. If you ever have like people more than one person, it can do, but you have to kind of like move around. It's a bit awkward. I've got two seats, so one seat opposite the other, so you can like chill out with someone else, but then also that folds out into a sofa. Got a big fridge freezer, so that's got all my stuff in there. I've got a full kitchen area, so I've got big preparation area, double gas burner, so I'm always chefing up nice food.
because I remember in the last
Spice.
van you had it out the back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was sick to be fair, like out the van. But I love my cooking and I love eating, so I wanted a big kitchen area. I've got
Yeah.
my where's the camera? My sink. So I've got a sink here, so that detaches as well, so I can use that as an emergency shower outside if I need to. And then I've got all storage under there for everything. All my clothes goes in the top cupboards, and I've got way more storage than I need, like absolutely tons of storage. All my coats go above the front there. Skylight there, so I can let light and air in. Extractor fan, and I've got a little window there, two windows at the back. So yeah, it's pretty kitted out.
Yeah, it's lovely,
Um,
man. It's got everything
Yeah,
you need.
sick. Yeah, that's
the
really,
whole
really
the
good.
whole the whole electric system's like the thing that keeps me going, because you asked just before we started actually, and I'll answer your question now. How does the electric work? So I've got solar panels on the roof, so they charge using the sun. But the second form of power is every vehicle has an alternator. So an alternator takes the energy from the
Kinetic
driving
energy, isn't it? Yeah.
energy, puts it into the battery. Now, this clever little device I've got basically takes the energy once the battery's charged, and rather than wasting it, puts it into my batteries in the back. So just by doing like a 45-minute to an hour drive, I can recharge the whole system.
Wow.
So I'm pretty much never going to run out of electricity. I've done the calculations with a friend of mine, and in summer I could park the van up and turn it off indefinitely and never run out of electricity. And in winter, I just have to go for about an hour drive every about 10 days. But I'm never parked for that long at all. Normally like 1 or 2 days at most. So yeah, the drone, the camera, the iPhone, the fridge always running, the lights, the sink, all of that can just be on at all times.
Man's
Is
always on
what I want.
100%.
That's
Mate,
sick.
I've been in the van now, this van, for over 3 months, and I've got an app, and I've never dropped below 89% battery
That's
in the
amazing.
van. So
Whoa.
we're chilling. Mate,
So-
I've actually probably got, like, joking aside, enough power to like get like a little PC rig in here. So I've been debating
Yeah,
that
yeah,
recently.
yeah. Bring back the
Yes,
Fortnite.
yes, come true.
Bring back the Fortnite. Willem streams.
Bring back the Twitch streaming. Bring back the Twitch.
Yes.
Man, live streaming. That could be a thing, you know. I reckon you'd get viewers as well because
Yeah,
it'd be a bit
100%.
different.
Your ping would be
Mate,
You-
yeah,
what you
different.
need to-
Mate, that's like my little confession to people that I used to be like a little streamer. But the funny thing is, like, my TikTok and that, it does like, I don't know. At the minute, it's doing about 6 million views a month on the TikTok. Yeah,
Yeah.
mate, that most viewers I ever had at one point on Twitch was 23, and it's just like just going from that to that in 2 years, it's like nuts. And that most viewers, I don't know if you remember, was when it's that. You remember that chicken nugget challenge? You remember that?
Yeah.
I was doing all that gaming and that, and the most viewers I ever had was on a live stream me trying to eat 100 chicken nuggets.
Oh god.
I mean, it's nice, but it's also as well disheartening at the time when stuff like that happens because you're like, "Rah, I'm actually trying to make good content, and you lot just want to see me choke on chicken nuggets." Like, come on, man.
I was just enjoying doing it. I think all of us would just do, well, probably still now. You just do it for the love of it. You know what I mean? Like, even
I
the
think that's how
content.
everything should start. Passion.
Yeah,
If there's no passion in it, nobody wants to pay attention. Nobody wants to watch what you're doing. It's like you said about the influencer thing, right? Like people have to care about the product that they're trying to sell you. Otherwise, like, why would you buy it if they don't care about it in the first place?
Yeah. And it's interesting because now I have this Instagram following and I have a decent level of followers. I get asked these questions sometimes, like, how did you do it? What do you do? Da da da. And then they'll be like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I'm like to people, like, I'm doing, like, I had this conversation with someone actually just today. They were like, oh, do you love all the videos that you post? And I was like, yeah, mate, I love all the videos that I post. And he was like, oh, sometimes I just don't like a video, but I post it anyway. I was like, well, that's where you're going wrong. Like, I do this for the love of doing it. I don't post stuff with the sole definition of getting views. I post it because it's what I've seen, and I wanna give that to the audience to show you like a summarized version of what I've seen. So once you start just doing like this sort of thing to get famous or get rich, like that's when like you're just gonna plateau. I'm doing it for the love of doing it. Like,
There was a point you were uploading a lot more, right? But I feel like now you focus more on quality rather than quantity.
Yeah, I'm still posting a fair bit, to be fair.
YouTube, I'm talking about though. Sorry.
Oh, so YouTube, yeah, YouTube. I'm just like, YouTube I just struggle with massively anyway because of my attention deficit. I just like struggle to sit there and do a YouTube video, but I would want to start doing them more often because like the YouTube video and the socials were primarily actually started just to like keep my family up to date, and like that's kind of like at the core of my videos still. Like my uncle will send me a WhatsApp every now and again saying, "Seeing your Instagram story, da da da, wicked, da da da," or like my dad will be like, "Oh, your granddad wants to know when's your next YouTube video out, so I can put it on the TV for him," and stuff like that.
Nice.
And like that was like the sole reason why I started doing this stuff. So as a byproduct, if I can make it like a full-time career and earn money off it, then perfect. But at the heart of it all, that's like why I was doing it for. So, and I'm gonna like keep those values true to me, like always.
I like that. You know, your granddad's
I think it's
there
important.
chilling, watching you just exploring, climbing and stuff.
Mate, like I think,
If you were my grandson, I'd be watching like this. Fucking.
the mad thing is they pure love it. All the family pure love it. They're like, yeah, could never do that, but we just love seeing you do it, sort of thing. And I'm blessed to have that small family, but they're like very like supportive of like my like adventures, and like they're like right behind me. So that's super cool to have.
That's good.
It's
Man.
good. You sharing the content. It's almost like they're able to experience it with you. Even if they're not doing it, but they're like, yeah,
Yeah,
They're living that
100%.
experience through you.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Up the mains.
Yeah, that's
the
it.
mains.
That's it. Yeah, the boys, up the boys.
No, obviously you had to be very prepared for like traveling and whatnot. You've got everything that you kind of wanted in the van. Now you're 3 months in. 2 things, I guess. One is, have you got anything that you wish was in the van that isn't in the van?
Yeah, good question. There's one sole thing that I have, but I haven't fitted, which is a heater. So it's now started to get cold. I've like had this heater for like 3 months in a box, and I've been like, yeah, it's nice and warm, nice and warm, nice and warm. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Because it's like basically like a full day sort of job. It's a big job. You got to drill a hole through the bottom of the van, like just like you got to drill through the floor of the van out the metal, and that you've got to wire in like all this. So it's a big job. I kept putting it off, and then suddenly out of nowhere, it's gone cold as fuck, and I'm like, why didn't I fit that heater? So the heater is in the van. I just need to get that fitted because that's gonna like single-handedly like make me survive winter. So that's like the big thing to be done on the to-do list. Yeah.
You've already
So is that
been
like an
sleeping in
electric heater?
minus conditions. You can't be doing that in the van.
Mate, I'm not doing that again. I want to be in my boxers, chilling, not having to be in my fully clothed hiking gear and a sleeping bag and a blanket and a duvet. Man, that was just dirty doing that every day. Mate, it was horrible. But no, it's like a little diesel heater, so it has like a little diesel tank, and it just like burns it really. They're really efficient.
Okay.
But they get really, really hot. They're really, really good. Like most people who have vans have them. But I just haven't had a chance to fit mine because I was on a time schedule to leave the country, and it was like one of the big jobs I had to do. But I will do it like really soon because I'm gonna need to. I want to survive like winter. I'm gonna just have to do it full stop,
Otherwise, we ain't gonna be able to have you back.
mate. Otherwise I'll be sat next to you in rugby or wherever you are in the world doing it like with you there. So
Don't worry, I got heating in the house. It's all good. You come stay with me.
give me that AC. I miss that central heating.
So what are like the main costs then? Obviously, you say it runs on like diesel, the heater and that. I guess fuel's obviously one of your biggest costs. But
So like in the van itself, the biggest 2 variables are fuel and food. Other than that, pretty much everything costs me 0 to nothing. So electricity is free. Water, I 90% get for free because in the mountains they have tons of just taps that are just constantly on with like mountain water, and you can just like go fill up from them. So you get like fresh mountain water. But sometimes you're like, if you're going through like cities and stuff, you might not see one for a bit. So I'll buy like bottles of water. So that's free. Like I don't really pay for campsites or anything. So for showers, I pretty much, people are like, oh, how's your hygiene? I'm like, my hygiene's actually sick. Like every day I'll be in some sort of river or lake or sea. No matter how cold it is, I'd rather be like fresh and clean than just like stay stinky for a bit. So I'm proper used to the cold water now. So I'm jumping in that every day. Actually got sponsored by a company recently that do like these like soap bars that have got like absolutely no like toxins in them, vegan free, sulfate free, animal free, like everything free. So you can use them in like rivers without polluting them. So that's pretty sick.
Perfect.
I can do
That's
that.
sick.
So I've been doing that, and then but yeah, the travel expenses are like the biggest one by far. Like obviously in a van, I'm probably getting no more than 30 miles per gallon, and I'm like doing some big drives through the mountains and cutting about, seeing people, because I don't do that slow pace of van life. If I was like going somewhere, staying a week, going somewhere, staying a week, it'd be like a third of the cost, if not a fifth of the cost. But because I'm like, get a message off someone, oh, do you want to come meet me in Austria? We'll go hit this mountain together. I'm like, yep. Or do you want to come Germany, and then we'll go do this together. Yeah, on my site. Yeah, I just want to do all this mad stuff, and like, so that's my biggest expense is by far diesel
Have
and
you
then
ever
food.
been
But
Have you ever been caught without any diesel?
mate, honestly, I'm the worst person in the world playing fuel roulette. I play it every time the fuel goes low. My record actually I did last week. The fuel light went on for no fuel. I managed to cover 18 miles through the mountains with no fuel. Mate, I just pure got to the top of the mountain, then just rolled it down for about half an hour without pressing the accelerator because it was just downhill the whole time. I mean, I was like fully like thinking I'm gonna like break down at this point. But yeah, fuel roulette is a game I like to play, but I shouldn't really do it.
Is there any kind of like possibility for you to get a hybrid van so that like it could charge off the solar panels and like the kinetic energy, so that like while you're doing low speeds, it wouldn't run on fuel?
Yeah, stuff like that has come about in the world, but you're talking like only like vans probably over the last couple of years, and like pricing wise, you're looking at for the van itself easily a starting price of 50k for the van.
Whoa.
And I paid 9.5 grand for my van, so there's like a absolute massive price difference.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So there is electric vans, you know, like DHL and stuff like that. They do all the, like electric van deliveries now, and there is hybrid vans. But the problem with anything electric and hybrid is like coming from like the car industry, I know this quite well. Is like the original cost is absolutely massive, and then the savings is like exponential. Like you can then make your savings back in like many years, but yeah, it just wasn't in the budget to get something like that. But it'd be a
Yeah.
sick idea in the future to do something like that because the amount of solar that I harvest and like just my battery's pretty much always at 100%. So like that solar could be used to go into other stuff for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that would be kind of, I guess, like the next step up. Maybe we'll try to get you a van sponsor. We'll get you that means a whole new build and some whole new followers, you know?
Started
A
off with
fleet of drones.
sorry, now we're talking 80k van. I like the way this is going. I like the way this is going.
I mean, you've
So,
been to obviously a bunch of places like Bulgaria, Montenegro, Romania,
Yeah.
Italy, France, a bunch of places. But where are your top 3 places that you've been to?
Oh, see, this question I get. This is like the most common question
Of course.
I get, apart from like, how do I make money? And it's and my answer changes pretty much depending on what mood I'm in. But I feel like, as a whole, I feel like Italy has to win as a whole, but it hasn't really got the best of everything. It's just got very good of everything. Like it's got really good mountains, it's got really nice lakes. It's then also got the really nice coast. It's got the really nice food and some pretty decent people. So like as a whole package, it like wins. But like I'd say like Austria has like the best lakes. I'd say like on I'd say like probably Switzerland has the best mountains. Um, like places like Albania are like the best for like going like off grid and not if you don't want to see anyone for a few days, you can just go to some pretty untouched spots and chill out there. And I actually found like countries like Bulgaria, Romania, and Albania, they had actually the friendliest people as well, like the most like welcoming people. Like there's times when I was in Albania and Bulgaria, I broke down in Albania and Bulgaria, and both times, both people fixed my van for free, and
Wow.
they would have been like probably about 200 quid repairs, 250 quid repairs in the UK. But I remember I just broke down in the absolute middle of nowhere on the old van, and they had to replace the gear linkage because I could only use first gear. I couldn't get that first gear, and then they like replaced it on a hot day, like did it there and then. They had to get their like little 7-year-old kid to speak English to translate. Went and got them like a pack of hot beers while they were cold beers, sorry, while they were working on a hot day. Didn't charge me, just let me drive away. Same thing happened in Bulgaria. Like I was driving down the road, and like one of my seals on the roof like blew off, and like went to this guy again. Google Translate, no English, just fixed it for absolute free. Gave him a cold beer, away you go, sort of thing. Like the hospitality,
Yeah, that's nice.
is amazing. But like I always say to people, like they have got such stern looks about them. They look like they want to like beat you up or mug you. Like they have such like a harsh face, but as soon as you like wave at them or say hello, they're like suddenly the friendliest people in the world.
I do
Like,
know a few Romanians and a few Bulgarians, so yes, I can agree.
yeah,
They are nice.
yeah,
They're very
yeah,
hospitable.
Yeah, they just want to help people, especially in their own country. They're very proud people,
Yes,
Yeah.
especially in
Yeah.
their country.
I
especially in
think
their own country.
probably tourism there isn't huge either, right? So if they get the chance to kind of have a good example of like, or to give people a good impression of the country, then that's probably going to pay back in tourism tenfold. That's what
It's a, it's
they're kind of
it's a
thinking,
big,
right?
big thing. It's a big thing. And even like back when last year I was making like TikToks, for example, in those countries, like I get tons of comments like, welcome to Albania. I hope you love our country. Thank you for showing our country in a good light. And like people, like you don't get that in like France, Italy, Spain, England. No one does that. But like as soon as I went to there, the people were like that in person, and then online they were like just as like welcoming, like thanks
Yeah,
for
they
showing our
embrace
country
you.
in a good light, da da da. And it was like quite nice to see, really.
Yeah, that's good.
So would you say like that was like one of the things you were least expecting when you were traveling? Like just how nice people are in all over Europe and
Yeah, I think like people, I think I think me as a person kind of plays into it as well. I'm a bit of like a happy-go-lucky guy. I'm traveling on my own in my van. I'm always quite happy with people, and like I'm never like expecting anything of anyone. So like I think they like see me, they know I'm on my own. They can tell like I'm just trying to get by, like sort of thing, and they want to actually help me out. Because another thing I always do, which is like one of my biggest tips for anyone traveling to like the remote places, is I always learn between 5 and 10 words of the local language, just to like get your foot in the door with people. Like I could just like jump into like Albania and just like say hello, how are you, thank you, and like even that like people were like gobsmacked by, like gobsmacked, like
I think
locals that I
it's
could say that.
I think it's nice if you do that. It
Yeah, it's
shows that
like
you're
it's
willing.
showing effort because unfortunately English people are some of the laziest people in the world because
Yeah,
it's like one of the most with Spanish like the one of the world's most spoken languages. So we just as a nation, English people and American people just assume everyone speaks English, and I see it all the time, and it actually winds me up. Like I'll see like English or American tourists just like shouting, or, like talking very loudly
and
at people
slow.
until they think they're going to understand. It's like 2 coffees, please. 2 coffees, please.
And then they make
I'm
it
like, mate,
worse by
that's
like dropping words.
yeah, mate. It's like posso pagare 2 cappuccino. Like, get a little bit of lingo in there. Come
Yeah,
on.
or even ask how do you say it in your language,
Yeah,
so then you can
yeah.
repeat it.
Yeah, people are just rude like that, but that's like one thing that's really helped me like get a foot in the door with people. But yeah, in answer to your question, like I was really surprised by these countries, like these Balkan Southeast Europe countries, because I went in there with absolutely zero expectations and had like the best outcomes, and like I can vouch for them countries to like anyone I can recommend them to anyone basically.
So I've seen, obviously, you stayed in a bivvy. Is that what it's called?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're gonna have to explain this to me because it's the first time I've ever
Yeah,
seen that. Is that just like a
yeah.
communal?
So basically, like it's see these things are like I get tons of questions about them, and I can in a way see them being like really like popular in like 2 to 3 years. But basically, a bivvy is short for a bivacco, um, and it is a basically like an emergency shelter. But because they have become more and more popular over the years, like alpine clubs, which are basically like clubs for mountain climbers, they solely fund them. They're like not by the government or anything. Like there's people who like subscribe and donate. Almost like you could think of it like as the RNLI, like the National Life Card, like stuff like it's just crowdfunded. So they make like these like mountain huts, and they can range from anything from like literally like a metal shed with four beds in it. So like the one I stayed in last night, which was like like had enough to sleep 20 people, had like a dining table, had a wood burner, had a stove, had like an outdoor grill, outdoor toilet, and mate, like if you put that like in the Lake District, you could sell it as an Airbnb for like 150 quid a night. That's how nice it was.
More than that, guy.
Mate, this was just like up in the mountains, like completely remote, and you can just basically go to them. It's a bit of a funny one, really, because ones like that are okay, but like the really like remote ones that I've been going to, like on the really tops of mountains and stuff, they are designed as emergency shelters. So if there's someone who's been on a mountain and had an accident, they always get priority number one. They always get a bed. But I'm going to them to like see these crazy places, which is cool. But like, there's like a very small population of backlash online from basically people saying, they're supposed to only be used for emergencies. But I always go there and I leave it nicer than I came. So like, I'm always taking rubbish down with me because people just treat them like shit and just leave rubbish in there and they make a mess of them. But they're all free. They're open 24/7, 365. They're never locked, so you can just use them whenever you want. And there's like easy ones to get to absolute extreme ones to get to. Like I'm talking like going up like vertical mountain faces to get to them and stuff. So
Was that
What's
one I
that?
saw in your last YouTube video where it was? I think it's like Casa Nova or something like that, Casa Nostra or something like that. Let me just pull the video. There was like a wooden hut like on the way up a mountain. It's the most recent climb that you did. So I
The one
believe,
the one in Romania. Yeah, that one wasn't a bivvy. That was actually like a mountain hut. So that's staffed. So that's like got like staff there, chefs there and stuff. That was fairly remote, but not very remote. These bivvies are like probably like at most they're the size of a normal like household kitchen at most.
okay.
Like some beds. Often they don't have mattresses or blankets. It's like you gotta expect nothing's gonna be there, but sometimes you get really lucky. Like, but yeah, they're like super sick. Really cool way of like getting into the mountains, spending a night in the mountains, and like getting to some cool places. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of them recently, but they're like super cool. But there's
Cheap as
actually thousands of them, but people just don't realize it because they're not like plastered all over social media yet, which is really nice about it because
I
like
suppose you want to keep it kind of
yeah, I want to keep it like low key. I want to show it, so like I'll show them, but I won't ever tell anyone where it is.
yeah.
Like people will get a bit butthurt about that, but like you do your own research. I did my research to find it.
Yeah.
Like it's not there to be like a tourist destination. It's there to be like respected. And like I
Yeah.
don't want to
'Cause
be
as soon as
part of the
Instagram know
problem
the
where
location, that's it.
yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to be like part of the problem where like over like populating over tourism over you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
You'll get YouTubers like, I survived 1 week in a bivvy.
Yeah.
Well, funny enough, there was one on YouTube now that went mega viral. I think if you YouTube, I spent the night in the world's loneliest cabin, um, and I saw that video and was like, wow, that's sick. But the guy never said at all in the video where it was. But I spent like an afternoon researching where it was. I found it, went there myself, and then it's still like a super low key spot no one knows about. But like the place, like they will eventually get like really big. But yeah, people do make a big deal out of it. Like we went to that bivvy the other day, and my mate who I was with actually got interviewed by New York Post. So we're in the New York Post about like our hike and doing stuff like that.
Nice.
And like they proper twisted our words. We were like, yeah, we like spent like 4 hours getting there. There was a bit of bad weather. We had to go up a bit of a vertical thing. And then like the New York Post rewrote it as daredevil, adrenaline-seeking hikers scale mountain to get to an impossible hut. And we were like, nah,
What?
fuck that, man. That's not what we did. But like, do what you want to do. But that's ultimately how you get clicks in it. Like you
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
you gotta
Yeah,
clickbait.
yeah. But I think you've had quite a lot of good publicity. Like I've seen a lot of the stuff that's been written about you, and
Was it the
obviously there was
Sun?
that.
Was it the
that
Sun?
yeah,
that
somebody
tried-
tried to post you without permission, right, and use your
Yeah,
footage and whatnot.
yeah. They posted an article about me in the Sun. Just took like screenshots of my like videos and stuff. Proper like butchered my name, butchered how much I spent on the van, butchered what countries I'd been to. But like they still wrote like good things about me, but it was just a bit like, you know, I've worked hard to make this life what it is. Like if you're gonna profit off my image, at least
Yeah.
I want my
Let me
bread,
know.
you know what
It
I
just
mean?
fucking
Yeah, yeah.
like
Let's just
William,
put it out there
like-
as well. You know, fuck the Sun. Yeah, we're the Sun readers.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, forgot
New
about
York
you either,
Post, though,
Brian.
that's the level that we're in now. New York,
Yeah.
We have to call him Wall Street Journal Willem next time we see him. Okay, okay.
Do you ever see me like advertising like a crypto pump and dump? Just delete.
No, William, we're gonna see you doing it Forbes.
They've got to.
Mate, I've had some joke offers from some companies, mate. I had this one the other day. I was creasing. I'll tell you about. I've had all sorts of joke ones, but the funniest one I had was last week. I had this woman emailing me, offering me quite a lot of money actually, like 1,500 quid. Like would have been my biggest ever deal. but she wanted me to promote like an AI girlfriend app. I was like, number one, no, but number two, how sad do you think I am living in my van on my own? Like, I know it's like hard times, isn't it? And I got no cheekers, like whatever, but having an AI girlfriend app, well, no way am I ever going to promote that.
I know. You read it and you were like, I don't know. I don't know.
I was,
How good is it?
AI girl.
Can I name her? I mean, without revealing too much, obviously, the road can't be all that dry, Willem. It must be.
a gentleman never tells. Come on.
Of course.
Man,
I'll show you some of these Instagram DMs. I'll show you some of these. I didn't think girls could be this wild. Mate, I've got some mad DMs right now from people, like literally putting it on a plate, like some crazy shit.
You're like, yeah, I got double bed, Come find me, Romanian Mountain. I'm at postcode for the next 3 hours.
I feel like joke with people about that. I'm like, yeah, this like someone like commenting on my TikToks recently, like like da da, or like where are you? I want to find you. And I was like, well, yesterday I was on a beach in Croatia.
I seen that.
Today I'm in a mountain, and then I'm going to be in the little bakery after that, or something like that.
There was a TikTok that you put out where a girl was like, "Where are all the guys with no hose?" And you were like, "Well, I'm on a beach right now in Croatia."
Yeah. We're out here avoiding you.
He doesn't mean that.
Oh yeah, you know.
You got AI.
But
now,
true. Big up the AI girlfriend. I know you're secretly using that app.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's been a pleasure speaking to you today, Willem. I mean, thank you very much for sharing your experiences and your stories with us. I do want to give you an opportunity if there's anything that you want to say here, or anybody that you want to shout out, or
yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, we've just obviously got the socials. I'm sure they'll be on the screen earlier. But yeah, I can chat about this stuff all day because it is genuinely like my passion. So if you ever want to chat to me about it, or if anyone's watching this ever wants to shoot me a DM, my absolute bad habit is that I reply to all of my DMs. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I need to stop at some point because like it's getting out of hand. But I always willing to give a helping hand to people interested in this lifestyle and have any genuine questions. Like, if someone asks me like a really genuine question, I'll always reply to it. But yeah, big up the three of you boys. Respect for doing your thing. I love seeing people go out there and chasing their dreams, following their passions. That's what I'm big for. So respect to you boys. Thanks for having me on.
Nah.
Platform you got going. Hopefully it goes on to big things.
Of course.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, big up you, Willem. No, we really appreciate you coming onto like our platform. It's a massive thing, and what you're doing is commendable. You live in many people's dreams, and you're inspiring us. Like, I'm mad inspired after this chat with you. It's crazy what you've done. You've achieved a lot within a short amount of time, and you're doing it your way. I love that shit. So yeah, man, big up you.
Respect, bro. Respect.
Yeah, we ain't gonna see.
I can fit a double bed in the back of a Fiesta, or what were you saying, bro?
I was gonna say we ain't gonna see Tyrell for about 4 weeks now. Man's gonna go traveling.
He's gonna catch man on a mountain now, man. She's like, nah, this is on Willem. This is what Willem told me to do it, man. I was like, I'll change my dreams.
Willem walk into a bivvy and they'll just see Tyrell there, like, yeah.
I did that.
It's been a pleasure, and hopefully, we get to have you on the show again. And
sure, anytime.
Make sure to keep in contact with us and keep us in the loop. We hope to see a lot more content coming from you, and we're looking forward to seeing that 100k cake being eaten while you're paragliding.
Yes.
Yo. There's a last question. There's a last question I got for Willem still. Favorite game, Willem?
Of all time, or like if I was gaming right now?
I mean,
all time.
Give you all time. Yeah, man.
I could give you a top 5, but an all time.
Then we'll take a top 5.
We'll take a top
5.
Mate, in no particular order, my top 5 would be GTA San Andreas,
Big game.
Banger.
Halo 3,
Big game.
Banger.
Crash Team Racing,
Oh, big game.
I
Jeez.
deny that one.
Pokemon Ruby,
Jeez.
Okay.
and then I would probably say I've got to say either Modern Warfare or COD 4. I've got to say Modern Warfare 2 or COD 4. I'll say Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah. I was gonna say 2.
I'll catch you on Rust. Me and you. 1v1
1v1 me on Rust. Oh shit.
COD 2 was like at that age where I could actually be like half decent at the game. So
I hear that. And if you do ever come back to the UK, even if it's just for a short stint, maybe we'll try and get a little gaming session in, man. It'd be good to catch up with you properly in
I
person.
still my little claim to fame from gaming. $200 earnings on Fortnite. Yes, then.
I remember that was in the Winter Royale, in the Cash Cups.
Still
Yo,
got that to my
them
name,
old eras
$200
there, you know.
earning from-
Yo. Fortnite back in the day was just
No,
different.
Stick it on the CV. Stick it on the CV.
We haven't actually mentioned this yet, but if anybody does want to check him out, we'll put them on the screen. They'll be in the description. You can check him out at willemexplores on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok.
TikTok's Willem Main. I actually never changed my TikTok. All my stuff was Willem Main, which is my surname. But I've just left TikTok as it is because TikTok's like seems to be doing the best. So I've just like left it alone. I'm like too scared to touch it now. Like TikTok's like I hit like 96k on TikTok today.
Nice.
So it's like maybe I'll change it
Huge.
100k, but I don't know. But yeah, I'm like kind of scared with that one to touch it yet.
You should do something crazy at 100k on the TikTok though, right? Like you got to
Yeah,
release some
yeah.
kind of base jumping off a mountain or something, you know?
Squirrel suiting.
Well, you say that, I might be actually paragliding off a mountain on Sunday.
Yeah, that's
There you
lit.
go.
Crazy.
You can drop that video at 100k.
Wait, what I
But
was thinking, I seen a sick idea the other day. There's this guy going viral at the minute that's base jumping, and he's got like a bum bag, and he base jumps, pops his parachute, and then he'll take like random food out his bum bag and make like cereals or make like tacos. And it'll be like, yeah, I might try and like bust a little fucking paraglide and get out a little cake with 100k on it. Like, yeah, like something like that. That'd be
yeah,
joke.
that would be perfect.
That
That would be perfect. It's a blessing and a privilege to speak to you, Willem. Stay blessed, stay safe, yeah?
Yeah, man. Stay
That's
safe.
it.
Raoul.
Yeah, man.
Obviously,
Hit
don't
the
forget to
outro.
follow all the socials: Bootleg Culture, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Oh yeah, that's us. I forgot about us.
Peace.
我が我が敵を食らう